Hi, good evening, everybody. It's really good to have you here this evening. I'm Victoria Foster. I'm the Associate Director of ISR, the Institute for Social Responsibility. And we've been running the Good Society public seminar series for several years now. It's included a diverse range of topics. And this evening, I'm delighted to welcome Ciiku Sondergaard, the co-founder of the excellent Liverpool-based organisation 4 Wings, to talk about what makes good work with women seeking refuge and asylum. So 4 Wings is very mindful of the trauma and multiple layers of disadvantage that women seeking refuge and asylum experience, and they do some really important work in offering meaningful support. Ciiku has an academic background in sociology, criminology and communication from the University of Liverpool. She's also trained in personal development, mindfulness, family and community mediation, and mental health advocacy. Ciiku has over 10 years' experience of facilitating and delivering personal development workshops. And one of the programs she's designed and delivered is the Wings Empowerment Programme, a course that inspires participants, many of whom have traumatized pasts, to discover their own strengths. Ciiku has several links with Edge Hill University and with some of my colleagues who are here this evening. And most recently, she joined ISR as a member of our external advisory group and is a real asset to the Institute. I've also been fortunate to attend some of 4 Wings events, including a fantastic storytelling day, where we heard some really moving stories, poetry and song, and an art exhibition of stunning paintings by people seeking refuge and asylum. So I'm really looking forward to hearing Ciiku speak this evening. Her talk is about 40 minutes long, and we'd like you to type questions and comments as you think of them into the chat. So at the end of the talk, Ciiku is going to play an audio or of a video of other women's voices for you to listen to. And during that time, she's going to read your questions and comments in the chat, and then we'll respond to them when the video finishes. So I'm going to hand over to Ciiku now. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I want to thank you for joining me today on a cold Monday evening. I hope you have a warm cup of tea, a coffee, a warm whiskey, whatever keeps you warm, no judgment. I want to thank Esther for coordinating this Zoom session, and Victoria as well as the ISR for inviting me on this platform to share what is working for 4 Wings in our work alongside refugees and asylum-seeking women. So again, my name is Ciiku Sondergaard. I'm from 4 Wings. I'm a co-founder and the program director. And where I'm really from is Kenya. I left almost 24 years ago as a young adult, live in Copenhagen, and moved to the UK in Middlesbrough, and finally settled in Liverpool in 2005. That's a brief background about 4 Wings. We're a small grassroots organization in Liverpool, which I co-founded in 2013 as a survivor of domestic abuse. So a gap in what was offered specifically to women who had experienced abuse. We offer a next steps forward-facing service to women who have experienced abuse, trauma and displacement. So our doors are open to all women, and although we are predominantly serving asylum-seeking and refugee women, this did not start out as intentional, rather because we've had a lot of women from this demographic coming to us through word-of-mouth referrals, self-referring, which inspired us to cater specifically for migrant women. I think we must be doing things right, considering we are at overcapacity, but have not really actively promoted our service. So what do we do at 4 Wings? I can't, well, this is, yeah, excuse me, I haven't used PowerPoint for quite a while, and I know there's a way to run the slideshow, automatically, but I'll just have to click, so just bear with me, please. We offer non-formal approaches, which is creative well-being and personal development programs. We use this non-formal approach because it helps to remove barriers, for example, language, and it encourages creative expression. But I think really this injects some fun and respite into lives that are often volatile, uncertain, and stressful. So one of our most successful projects is Storytelling Cartographies, which is a platform where women come in and share stories. And as Victoria has told you, she has been at an event where we've culmination of what we've done during storytelling was shared with the public. So what are we going to talk about today? We're talking about what makes good work with women seeking refuge and asylum. In this session, we will cover 4 key practices of 4 wings. One is valuing lived experience. 2, meeting people where they are. 3, creating art spaces. And 4, facilitating allyship and collaborative working. This is what works for 4 wings. We're not coming in as, the ones that are the end all be all of work with asylum seekers and refugees. This is what works for us, and most importantly, the women who access our space. And what is great about the Good Society series is the exchanges. We share what works for us, and it's an opportunity for others to have a critical reflection on their own practice, enhance it, or even acknowledge good practice. Because what we found with us as a small grassroots organization is sometimes we don't give ourselves a pat on the back and say, you know what, we're doing that well. So this could be an opportunity to say, yeah, actually, we are also doing that and it does work for us. So many of these 4 points, many of them are not groundbreaking. As I said before, a lot of grassroots organizations might be already doing all of this. This talk is really to reinforce this work. And if one is not doing this already, a reflection on how to adapt it into our work might be useful. If you have any questions as we go along, please share them in the chat. And also please bear with me. I may or may not struggle with some line of thought because of a health issue that I struggle with, but I'm sure I'll recover very quickly. So let's move on to our first point, which is lived experience. So everyone has lived experience of one thing or the other. But in working with social purpose work, what does this mean? Oxford Reference Dictionary explains it as personal knowledge about the world gained through direct first-hand involvement in everyday events rather than through representations constructed by other people. So in experience-led organization, this means using the experiences of people who a social issue has had direct impact on to inform social purpose work, drive and lead social change, and to create social impact on ground level and on a wider level. The key focus at 4 Wings and why I have leaned heavily into this is because we really do value lived experience and always factor this, including people and with lived experience and amplifying their voice. So we are a lived experience-led organization. All board members have lived experience of the issues we are tackling, which is trauma, abuse, displacement, and migration. And along with this, we have a collection of professional skills, academic qualifications, and diverse work experience. Ciiku Sondergaard, a Danish philosopher, among other things, who was introduced to me by a Danish colleague, is someone that has influenced my approach to life and work. And one of my favorite quotes of his, one that has really stuck with me, is that life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forward. This is largely 4 Wings approach work in our community. We are forward-facing, and our board and leadership build on lived experience, academic research, and professional training to inform our work and social purpose. On the ground and direct work with women, we shift power by involving women with lived experience in decision-making on what projects and interventions work best. I'm not saying this is easy and we're not able to please everyone all the time. We do try to make this our practice. Shifting power also includes social modeling and encouraging observational learning. And that is why directors, team members that started off as beneficiaries are visible to the women, so that the women can see themselves in someone and see a person that is at a further stage in where they are and think, I can do that as well. This is why lived experience and social modeling is so important. So, is lived experience valued in social practice work? In recent years, lived experience is gaining acknowledgement in public, academic, and sector work. But what we found, and again, I'm speaking from Fowing's experiences, sometimes this can be tokenist, and people are invited to the table, not really because there's a real interest or valuing of what they have to share, but just so that can seem to be inclusive. So when inviting people with lived experience to the table, it's important to really listen to them, because they may notice things that others may miss, such as how certain activities, language, or approaches can reinforce power imbalances that are already inherent in society. So what do you do if your organization, for whatever reason, doesn't have someone with lived experience? It's very important to train staff and people in leadership positions and the board in intercultural competencies. And this can cover issues such as microaggressions, unconscious bias, anti-racism, and intersectionality. Another way to show that you value lived experience is by maybe recruiting people who have indirect experience. This is carers and family members who live with people with lived experience, and in that way you can get like a secondary contribution from these people. So I'll move on to the second point, which is meeting people where they are. Again, the influence is Søren Kierkegaard, who in his work, Art of Helping, wrote, if one is to truly succeed in leading a person to a specific place, one must first and foremost take care to find them where they are and begin there. This is a secret in the entire art of helping. So going back to the question, where are you really from? What happened at Buckingham Palace last week resonated with many migrants. This question can be innocent and not meant to cause offense. But this really depends on who is asking the question, what is the context, and who they are asking the question. In the context of working alongside refugees and meeting them where they are, it is important to sensitively try and find out where a person is from, so that we can avoid triggers, be aware of power imbalances, and also be aware of our own privilege. And this is even as a lived experience organization. So, I have, for example, experience of migration and abuse. Someone accessing our service may have a very different experience. There might be some commonalities and might have a bit more privilege than they do. So this is why it's so important to try and find out someone's background and really listen to what their story is. Women who have experienced displacement, trauma, and abuse, but have also been through a process that is re-traumatizing, and a hostile immigration system that perpetuates discrimination and racism, and for asylum seekers, a system that does not allow personal or career development. Many of these women have their self-agency taken away in most cases. So when women come to Four Wings, it is crucial that we are not standing at the front acting on them, leading them to whatever outcomes we or funders have, that we walk to where they are and walk alongside them, letting them guide us to whatever interventions work best. This is not easy. As I said earlier, everyone is at different stages. So most of the time, what we do is we go with the majority and then offer one-to-one support to any whose needs are not met at the group level. So our culture is walking alongside people rather than acting on them. Meeting people where they are is being led by the people you are serving, understanding where they're coming from, and intentionally listening to learn their values and expressed needs. For example, certain practices that might cause upset in the mainstream or a host country may not be the first concern for a migrant, a refugee, or asylum-seeking woman. When we're offering support according to what we think is best, and be, as Kierkegaard continued to write, if I want to assert my greater understanding, then it is because I am vain or proud. Then basically, instead of benefiting them, I really want to be admired by them. So acting on people can be equal to having a savior complex, which reinforces power imbalances and is thus disempowering, the very opposite of what a support organization should be doing. So I'm going to move on to the third practice at Four Winds, which is creating third cultural spaces. Speaking from my own experience as a new migrant, there were times I felt a loss of identity. And in our work, we have found the same is true of refugees and asylum seekers, especially at the initial stages. There's a sense of not being rooted and a yearning to settle and belong. One may not get a sense of belonging in mainstream society, which is seen as the first space, so then tries to find bonds of affinity elsewhere, find other spaces where they feel included, where there are people of similar ethnicity, religion, or culture. They may end up in a second space and still feel like they don't belong. These are spaces where usually second, third generation, fourth generation migrants inhabit. But new wave migrants may not get a sense of belonging due to cultural differences and the seeming lack of ownership over these spaces. So in this context, unless one finds a third space, an alternative space, an in-between place, the I don't know where I belong space, they can become socially isolated and excluded. A third space is where individuals from different cultures can interact with each other, adapting their own sense of cultural identity to explore new ways of building relationships. This really does impact on a sense of belonging. It becomes a space filling the gaps between colliding cultures, giving rise to something different. Something new, a new area of meaning and representation. That is from one of the founders of that space theory. So Four Wings offers a third space. For example, the storytelling project that I spoke about before creates a safe and non-judgmental space to share and connect. It is extremely popular with Four Wings members and includes activities that cover identity, a sense of place, community, and the essence of culture. Through various creative mediums, members are inspired about who they are, what defines them, where they come from, where they want to go, and more. These topics motivate the participants to tell their stories in their own way and encourages language development. Many times sad stories are shared, but also happy memories. Their voices are raised and it helps others to understand them. This storytelling space facilitates reflection on what is common between members, creating a feeling of connection between themselves. Being women, being on a journey, having experienced transition or displacement, wanting to settle in their new home, or even wanting to learn English. It stimulates the development of a dynamic, diverse peer support network. participants have shared with us that they feel a sense of family and community within the group. Although we do offer a space, we also create programs that encourage members to explore other spaces. For example, the Creative English Project and the English Walking Project, which introduce members to other public spaces that they did not know about or did not feel they could access or did not know were free to access. We do this to encourage a sense of belonging and a sense of ownership in local and wider community. I'll move on to the fourth point, which is valuing allyship and collaborative work. Over the years, we have seen the benefits of creating allies on the ground and through collaborative cross-sector relationships above ground. We've invited members of the public to our group and to events to combat negative media narrative around refugees and asylum seekers. These have mostly been successful, with mindsets changed when confronted with the reality of the lived experience of refugees. People have shared that they had no idea, and adding on to whatever it is they learned at the event. We do this because members of the public are potential voters that could contribute to changing policies. So we invite them to our storytelling sessions, but of course with the consent of the women, just for them to hear another narrative, which is from the people involved. We've also benefited from critical feedback and in-kind support from professionals in the private sector, which has helped us to develop our strategy for additional income streams. They have in turn benefited meeting their CSR outcomes, with individual private sector staff reporting that it was refreshing and rewarding to feel that they were contributing to a bigger cause on a very personal level. We're also working in partnership with NHS professionals who come into group sessions to share health insights and answer health-related questions. It's helped remove the barrier to accessing healthcare that many asylum seekers face and demystifies the health service, raising awareness of their rights. We are keen to develop cross-sector partnerships further, especially our relationships with the academic sector. So thank you for inviting Forwings to join ISR's Shill's ISR network. And finally, and most importantly, we always invite the women we work alongside to contribute to conversations and talks that relate to them. So I'm going to share a video from some of them in their own words, sharing what works for them. If you can please try and identify at least 2 themes that come across in these segments, that would be really great. Okay, so let me attempt to share this and I hope it works.
I'd like to talk about the organizations. I've been in so many organizations, so I just want to say that they're so kind. When you come to them, they welcome you well. You feel like you're part of the family. So it's really good. Thank you. Hello. Always happy anytime I'm with them, and they really help me and my family. Thank you so much. May God bless you. More blessing. Thank you.
Hello. I've been with Four Wings since 2016, and since then they gave me care and support, and most importantly, with my mental health, because they always call to check on me, and they pay for my fare to come and join my fellow different friends in the office, which really helps me a lot while I'm going through with difficult problems at this moment. Definitely, I thank Four Wings for being there for me. Thank you so much. I appreciate everything. I'm so grateful to all of them. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. In fact, 4 weeks for me has been a very, very engaging service. I like the organization because kind of help me ease off stress and make me feel welcome and relaxing. I've been to several services, and I tell you, the activities over here is quite different from a lot. Of course, I know each services have got their own. I've been to several services, and I tell you, the activities over here is quite different from a lot. Of course, I know each services have got their own uniqueness, but when it comes to meeting up what people want, women especially, I think Four Wings does it for me, and for every of my friends that have been to the services as well. The first day I came to Four Wings, it was not a planned visit. I was coming to see a friend, and she was like, come upstairs and let's see what's happening here. And ever since then, I have never stopped coming to Four Wings. I always look forward to coming to Four Wings, and all my friends that I've brought to Four Wings as well, they always love it. It's engaging, it's interesting, it's educating, it's interactive. It's an organization that sees everyone as family, and that's what most people want, because they want to have a sense of belonging. They want to be in a place where they feel welcomed. They want to be in a place where they feel valued, and Four Wings is a place that provides such services. And I know there's still a lot more for us to learn, because there's services and programs coming in. I come on Wednesday to the English Weekend. We've been to a whole lot of places. These are places I would never have dreamed of going into, or even know that it even existed, because I'm new to Liverpool. And I tell you, Four Wings have taken me to places I least expected. And I'm very, very excited. I always look forward to the English Weekend and the dancing and understanding various cultures, tribes, and tradition. A lot to learn, and I'm really, really grateful that I found a place like this in Liverpool.
Okay. So that was women in their own voice saying what has worked for them. When we did ask for feedback on what works, what is good practice, we didn't necessarily say, about Four Wings, although they were in Four Wings premises, but that's what came out. And I just wondered if anyone watching noticed any themes that came across from what the women said. Okay, so I think the themes that came across were a sense of family and a sense of community. And also there was aspects of feeling safe and making new friends and a network. And that this is really what we want to encourage, safe spaces where women can connect and they can raise their voice and have a third space, a new family, because they are away from their families in a new country while experiencing a very hostile system. So thank you for listening. Thank you for taking the time to join today. And I'm just gonna hear from you if there's any questions or feedbacks.
There are a couple of questions in the chat. Did you want me to read them out, or do you want to have a look yourself?
Yes, so I can see one question there. The work we do with the general public and changing attitudes, how do we engage the public and how do we advertise the events and which people tend to come? So what we do is we have projects events where we want to disseminate project outcomes, and we hold events like, for example, we had an art exhibition where the artwork that women had created was shared with the general public actually. We do invite the professionals in our networks. A lot of the time these events have general public accessing. We have done Q&As to see people's knowledge around the asylum system, and many people are quite surprised when they learn the real deal, the reality of what people are experiencing when they seek refuge. We also invite professionals and sometimes other women's groups to our sessions. So for example, to storytelling. And again, them sitting in this space and hearing women talk about their journeys and their lives has really changed mindsets. And we've created a number of allies that just resulting from them engaging in our sessions or in our events. How do we advertise the events? Yeah, so we would do that usually through our social media platforms, and through sending a message to our professional network. The next question is, can the women bring their young children to the premises? Yeah, so this is a challenge for us because we are a women's organization, and of course we want to support women and their families, but we are also trying to create a space where women can get respite and a break from the everyday challenges. Of course, we cannot turn away women with children. So what we really need to do now, what we need to get funding for, is an additional space just nearby, across the hall, where we can have a child care and looking after children. So when the women come, they can really just focus on themselves, on personal development, their own social, needs and all that. The working project sounds so positive. I would love to hear more. The reflections on belonging from the women participants was really powerful. Yeah, we've done working projects. So we were funded, and this is what I mean by not just meeting funders' outcomes. You also have to do projects that are of benefit the people you're working alongside. So we were funded to deliver a green space project. So introducing people to green spaces and the benefits of being around green spaces, and it is a really good idea to do that. But also, if people are struggling with their mental health and it's raining and it's dark and depressing, it's very hard to, sell the idea of going out to walk in the green spaces. So while they've really benefited from exploring these new spaces when the weather was amazing, this is a challenge right now when the weather is dark and gloomy. What we've done is we've found alternatives where we're still meeting the funders' outcome, also serving women's needs. Charlotte, the walking project in good weather has been very successful with people going to parks and spaces they don't even know existed because they don't venture out of their immediate community. The art exhibition was last year, actually, in, what do you call it? That side of town. Oh, I've forgotten what the name is. Anyway, it's where all the creative stuff is happening. Oh yeah, the Baltic. I can't believe I forgot the Baltic Triangle. No, that is done. We still have the artwork and some of it for sale. If anyone is interested, we are based in the city center on Hanover Street, just by John Lewis. Very central, very anonymous. It is expensive. This is what women need. The women have said they want to come out of their local communities. Don't want anyone to know if they're accessing, for example, if somebody is a victim of domestic abuse, they don't necessarily want their community or their perpetrator or whoever seen where they're going. So it's so important we have a space in the city center in an anonymous building where they can just come and feel safe. Yes, we do take referrals. We're open to referrals, referrals from professionals, and referrals from other charities. And we are interested also in cross-referring because we can't offer everything. And we know there are other people who are doing amazing things that we don't do. So we're very happy in working together in that way and cross-referring. So yeah, the exhibition was in the Baltic Triangle, yes, in one of the art and creative spaces there. And there's pictures on our website, on our social media. And like I said, we do have artwork and items that women made in that project, if anyone is interested in buying to support our work. So
I've got a comment here, Ciiku, that's come directly to me by accident, I think, from Amanda, who used to work for the Students' Union. And she says, when she did work for the union, they connected with Four Wings through a colleague. And so she says it's really interesting to hear from women who use your charity. So that's just a little thank you from Amanda there.
Oh, thank you, Amanda. We want to connect even more with the student union. I know there's a lot of students who want to get involved in this kind of work, working directly on the ground with people in communities. So yeah, it would be good for us to go back to the union, try and universities, local universities, and try and connect with the students as well. Thank you, Charlotte. Thank you for sharing that. Are there any programs to empower women to discover their talents and so they could succeed? Yes, we have a program called Wings. It's a personal development program where women rebuild their self-esteem, because if you've been through trauma, abuse, or displacement, a lot of the times your self-esteem and self-confidence may be impacted. So what we do is we rebuild self-esteem and self-efficacy, helping facilitation of goals, and whether that's, it might not necessarily be finding jobs, one might not be at a stage where there is a next step, but it's definitely just people thinking about the future and what their plans are and how to put things in place and steps in place to reach that ultimate goal. We also have drop sessions on Friday where we help with practical issues, but also with job search. And in fact, we had one the other day where a river came in, had a social responsibility outcomes to meet, and they came and they supported the women and their families in CVs, writing CVs, and job interviews, preparing for job interviews and all that. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. We offer a lot of support to women who are experiencing displacement and have been victims of abuse and trauma. We also offer financial grants. So if you work within the sector and you know any women that are struggling financially, especially in this cost of living crisis, you can refer them to Four Wings. And this is not just asylum seekers and refugees. Any women that are struggling to meet their financial needs during this crisis, we can give them financial grants. So do refer them to Four Wings. Yeah, so yeah, I've just been told someone is asking where we're based. We are by John Lewis in the city center on Hanover Street in Church House. Is it easy to get funding? No, funding, it's not easy to get funding. Actually, funding is very, very competitive at the moment for obvious reasons. Everyone is struggling, everyone needs that support. So it is hard. And I have to say, especially for Black-led, migrant-led organizations, it's really hard to get support. And again, I'll go back to tokenist support, wanting to seem be doing something, but not really, supporting in the real sense. But yes, Joe, yes, for financial grants. Yes, please refer them to us. I will just leave our email there just so that if you want to do a referral, you can just send the women to us and we can support. Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. I am aware it's a Monday and people might want to go and just, make sense of the day. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Victoria, for inviting me. And
thank you so much for being here. It's been really interesting. And we've got so many positive comments in the chat. Somebody's asking if you'll share the presentation. I know that we're going to make this into a little video on our YouTube channel so that it will be available on there. But perhaps you could share your slides as well, Ciiku.
Yes, I'll do that as well. Yeah. So.
Oh, and Esther's just posted the website as well. Thank you, Esther.
Thank you, Esther. Oh my, you are much better at promoting 4 Wings, and I keep forgetting things, and later I think, oh, why didn't I say that? Why didn't I do that? And I'm sure there's something I've forgotten. But as I said, we offer a lot of various, services to women. So if you want to learn more, please just contact us through our email or our website, and we will tell you more about our work in the community.
And if you do another storytelling day, you must let us know. We can promote it through ISR as well, because that was amazing.
Yes, you're all welcome. If we have another one, which we do have, we always have this end of project events, we'll definitely invite you. The food is amazing, by the way, as really, well. You know, really food from amazing. Around the world, sharing of cultures. Just these events are always so joyous, and also for the women, you know, that day they're able to put on their makeup, put on their, ethnic clothes, and just come and shine. And we always step back during these events. We don't take the front stage. We let them manage and deliver the whole, session. So that is a time for them really to shine. So we will definitely be inviting all of you to the next one. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you so much, Ciiku, for that presentation and for all the good work that you do.
Thank you.
So have a good evening, everybody, and hopefully we'll see you again here another time. Thank you.